Hey everybody, I am back. This is the second step in painting your spring floral challenge. So where we left off last time was that we had our canvas prepped. We traced our outlines, painted over them with a light purple paint, and applied a ground color. And that kind of harmonizes the whole thing and gets rid of the scary white. So, and then we also have our frame taped so that we don't get paint accidentally on our frame. So this is where you need to be at. The next thing we're going to do is mix our colors. So I'm going to show you how to mix your colors now. And hey, Christina, hopefully this will help you out. I think a lot of the struggle bus is, first of all, mixing colors and organizing everything. Like, how do you keep everything organized when you're painting? And there's so many things you're thinking about at the same time, right? Hi. So what I want you to do, if you didn't see the first video, which was, I'm going to take you into the classroom and show you what that was. Hello. And I may not see your name. Forgive me if I don't call you out by name, because sometimes StreamYard doesn't know your name and asks for permission and all that stuff. So anyway, this is what I want you to grab. I want you to grab this digital download called What to Paint First. And I'm going to show you where this is in the classroom. All right, so let me share my screen and take you in there really quick. And we're going to get to the color mixing in just a minute. Oh, do I have it open? I have two windows open. Okay, so here we are in the classroom, Spring Floral Challenge, and I just shared in the main feed the Liquitex Slow Dry Medium for keeping your paint mixes wet a little bit longer. This is optional. You don't have to use this. I did recommend also the GAC 100 by Golden. That's optional too. If you're on a budget, you don't have to buy that stuff. It's just kind of nice if you can swing it, but totally optional. It will help you to keep your paint mixes wet. You're going to have to keep them wet. I'm going to show you how to mix up these blues, greens, and pinks and reds together, each on separate palettes. And we're going to put a lid on them to keep them wet so that we can go to them and grab them when we need them. And that'll help us keep ourselves organized and keep us in the painting flow so that we don't have to stop, pull out our tube of paint and mix new fresh color. If you've got it all mixed already, you're going to find it so much more pleasant to paint. Okay, so that's what I'm going to take you through. So what you need to do is print this out, kind of tape this up on a wall to refer to so that you see the overall big plan of how you're going to do this painting. And the place to get this from is if you go into the guides. The guides, all the tabs are at the top of the page. Now, I have noticed something. When I'm on my phone, sometimes I get the guides, I get the 3 lines in the upper right corner of my iPhone, and I click on those 3 lines, sometimes called a hamburger, believe it or not, and it'll show me a few options. One of them is guides. But every other time when I'm on my phone and I click on the hamburger, it does not give me the guides. So if that happens to you and you're like, where are the guides? I don't have the guides. Go back out of it and then come back in again and it'll be there again. You'll see the guides again. It's the weirdest thing. I don't know why it happens. But anyway, you can always access the guides when you're looking on your computer. And I know you may not have a computer. You might have an iPad, but it is what it is. So anyway, if you go up, the other place that you can access all of this stuff, if you don't have guides, is to go all the way over to the right tab called Files. And all of the PDFs are under the Files tab. So you can go there and download all of these things and save them to your phone or computer or whatever. Okay. This is under the Guides tab under Guide 3, Color Mixing, What to Paint First. Here's what it looks like. So I want you to print that out and And here's page 2 of it. This is our overview of how we're going to do the painting, right? Next, what I want to show you is, let me go back to the main level of the classroom. Go back to Guide 3, color mixing. And what I want to point out, the thing I want you to remember, what you're going to get out of this class, hopefully, is, I'm going to go through all these supplies to make a strong painting. Hopefully what you're going to learn from me, these are all the supplies, is this right here. To create a strong focal point in your painting. That is what is missing in 95% of the paintings that I see on social media. There's no strong focal point. Everything has equal emphasis. It's just, what am I supposed to look at? So we're going to use saturated color and desaturated color on these flowers to bring on the focal point, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do that with color mixing. So I want you to look through Guide 3 and look at these photos. This is what I'm about to do with you right now. First, we're going to mix our cool mixes. The top plate that you see right there. Hopefully you're seeing all this. I better double check on my phone. And I'm using styrofoam plates because it's just the quickest for me to do on camera. Hold on one sec. Let me just double check that we are. Yes. Okay. It looks like it's showing. Okay. Good, good, good. And Shelly is here. Hey, Shelly. Hello, hello, girlfriend. So that top plate, those are the cool blues that I'm going to use. I'm going to use 3 different mixes. One is ultramarine blue mixed with white. The other is phthalo blue green shade mixed with white. And the third one is Payne's gray and brown. If you don't have Payne's gray, just use ultramarine blue and brown, any brown, and mix that with white. And that's how I made those 3 colors that you see on that top plate. I'm going to show you how to mix that in just a minute. Next, we're going to mix up our warm colors, which you see on the lower plate. We're going to mix white with magenta, and you could use whatever magenta you have, quinacridone magenta or primary magenta. You could even use, if you have alizarin crimson, that would be kind of dull. It has a little brown in it. I would not suggest using that. But if it's all you got, it's all you got. You could even use, like, if you have a rose color, or if you have quinacridone red, you know, whatever you got. So we're going to make a pink. Then we're going to make a peach. I love Pyrrole red. My bestie, Shelly, she loves Naphthol red. They're both so close. Doesn't matter. Use a warm red, an orangey red mixed with white. And that's the second color that you see. And then the third one is both magenta and your warm red with white to make that kind of coral color. Okay. So we've got 3 slightly different pinky peachy reds. I don't know what you want to call them. Okay. And then our last highlight color towards the very end, we're going to add the yellow mixture, the more yellowy peachy mixture that you see at the very bottom of the plate. Those come at the very end. Okay. So that's that. And then one more thing. We got to mix some greens, of course. We got to have our greens. So the greens, there is no white added to the greens. Okay, let me repeat that. No white in your greens. Okay, just yellow. Okay, so we're going to use like a cadmium yellow light, a yellow that's almost on the whisper of green, you know, not a yellow orange, you know, yellow. And so the first mix I made was my Hansa yellow with my ultramarine blue. And then I mixed Hansa yellow with my Payne's gray. And then I mixed Hansa yellow with teal. If you don't have teal, use your phthalo blue green shade. Okay. When we want to darken these 3 greens, we're going to add a brown or a Payne's gray. If you want to mute them even more and get more variation in your greens, which is always a good thing, you could add raw sienna, which I'm showing at the bottom. So you can have all kinds of beautiful, beautiful greens. Okay. So if you want to print these out, it might help you to print that out or just look at it on your screen as we're doing this. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing now, and I'm going to walk over to the table and start mixing colors with you, okay? Back into StreamYard. All right. Yeah, it's a busy Saturday. Oh, you're welcome, Christina. I'm glad you like the workbooks and the downloads. Yes, they're so helpful. Okay, I'm going to make myself smaller, and we're going to head on over to the table and start mixing up our colors, right? Here's this. And so here we are. We are on this step right here, mixing our colors, okay? This is what we're going to be doing in this video. I am using gesso for my white. And so here it is. I am using white with the blues and the reds, the pinky reds, but I'm not going to use it with my greens. There is also this color mixing recipe chart that you can print out. Again, this is in the downloads under the files tab. You can download this and practice mixing these. This is QM, means quinacridone magenta and white. PRL is my pyrrole red light mixed with quinacridone magenta and white. Here's pyrrole red with white. Here's yellow mixed with the red. So you see, these are my different pinks, pinky, peachy, corals, whatever you want to call them. I don't know what you want to call them. And then for my greens, I started playing around with my Hansa yellow and my ultramarine blue, and I got those 3 very different greens just from those 2 colors, no white. And here's another really nice dark green. That's Payne's Gray. PG is Payne's Gray with my Hansa yellow. That's a beautiful green. If you want a more limey green, you can use your teal with yellow. If you don't have teal, just use your ultramarine blue green shade. I'm sorry, phthalo blue green shade. Here's phthalo blue green shade with white to make teal. And then for these beautiful blues and grays down here, it's Payne's Gray with white. This is Payne's Gray and white. This one I added a little ultramarine blue. This one I added more Payne's Gray back in. You can even add Van Dyke Brown to get this color. So lots of beautiful, beautiful colors you can mix from just these few paints. You know, I'm using golden fluid, but you could use heavy body, whatever you got, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get our first palette out and start squirting our paint out onto our palette first, right? So I know I want to mix, what am I doing? Let's look at this. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to mix these colors right here. So you might want to print out the photo of this so that you know what you're doing. I need another table. You know what, let me grab another little table really quick. Just to have this next to me, these papers. Okay, so I'm going to do white and ultramarine blue. I'm going to do white with phthalo blue, and then I'm going to do white with Payne's Gray and brown. So I made 3 squirts of white, gesso white. I'm going to get just a little bit of ultramarine blue. Oh, since that landed there, let's put it there. Okay, and then mix these 2 together. Bing, bang, boom, we're done. Now, let me just point out something about water. I use a giant water container. This is pretty big. It's a quart mix and measure from the paint store. But from doing my first step, from doing this, I made my water really dirty when I rinsed out my big 3/4 inch flat brush. So I want clean water. So I'm going to dump this out and get some clean, fresh water. I forgot to do that before we started. So sorry. If you are going to do medium to keep your colors wet a little bit longer, you might want to put a little bit of that out on your palette as well. So I'm going to grab just a little bit of this. just a little bit of this slow dry blending medium. I'm just going to put it in the middle here so that I can grab it whenever I need it. So I'm going to basically stick my brush in that. I'm going to pull a little bit of this blue into the white. Just pull a little bit into the edge, a little bit at a time. And there's my ultramarine blue. Now, acrylic paints dry about a shade darker. So keep that in mind. Make it a little bit lighter than you think. So let me just put a dab of this on here. That's a lot lighter. So let me just mix a little bit more in. And I think that's pretty good. Good enough, right? So there's my ultramarine blue and white. I'm going to get that out of my brush, just pinch it into a blue shop towel, rinse my brush out. The other mix I want to do is this one right here, Phthalo Blue Green Shade and White. So I'm going to put a little squirt of that right next to this white. Phthalos are really powerful, so you don't need much. So again, I'm going to dip my brush into the medium, bring that over here to this puddle, mix it into my white, pull in just a little bit of that phthalo blue at first. And there we are, we have it. Paint a little swatch of that right there. That looks good enough for me. Okay, so there's my second mix. Again, I'm going to pinch this out. And as to how much, I would say try to mix about the amount that you see me mixing. That was always a big question at my in-person paint parties. How much paint should I mix? Yeah, it's hard. Okay, now we're going to mix this beautiful gray color. So it's Payne's Gray. Now, if you don't have Payne's Gray, you can mix any brown with ultramarine blue to make Payne's Gray, okay? I love Golden's Payne's Gray. It's a beautiful color. Look at this beautiful color. We love it in the Painter's Journey, don't we, girls? We use it a lot. So I'm going to put this over here by this pile, Payne's Gray, and a little bit of brown. Again, I don't care if you have Van Dyke Brown, Burnt Umber Light, really doesn't matter all that much. Okay, so I'm going to, with my cleaned brush, grab some of this medium once again, bring it over into this white. I'm going to get a little bit of the Payne's Gray and a little bit of the brown and start mixing those together. And however blue or brown you make it is totally up to you. But it's a nice neutral brown. You can make it more cool with the paint, with a little more Payne's Gray, or more warm with the brown. Totally up to you. This is what we're going to use to desaturate some of our mixes. Getting it a little bit darker. All right, good enough. I'm going to put this over here, and you'll see it is different, but it's not that bad. It's pretty close. So there we have it. Those are the cool mixes, the blues. So on this instruction sheet, when I say mix, first mix your cools, this is what I mean. First do this. I'm going to take my water bottle, and I'm just going to hold it I guess I could do this on camera. I'm going to hold it far away from the plate, and this is a continuous mister. I want to get a fine mist on it. There we go. just one spray. I don't want it too watery. I can't stand it when my paints get too watery. It really affects things in a negative way. So now I'm going to cover this because I have to mix some more colors. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to label this with my Sharpie. These are my blues. Okay. When you've got a plate like this, you need to put something heavy on it to really make sure it's kind of sealed. So I'm going to just stick a bottle of paint on it. Okay, next up, we're going to mix our warms. Okay, so any questions so far on the color mixing of the blues? Am I going too fast? Or anything not making sense? Let's check in with you guys. Christina says that she loves the phthalo colors. I know. It's a beautiful turquoise color. Love it, love it. Shelly says, yes, Payne's Gray. It really is amazing. It really is. All right, I want to keep going. So we're going to mix now. I'm going to do the same thing. Got a message from Michael's about a store-wide clearance sale. Yeah, always. I get so many messages from Michael's, you know. Okay, so a big squirt of my slow dry medium in the middle. And again, I'm gonna do 3 mixes. They are mostly white, so I'm gonna make myself 3 puddles of white. 1, 2, 3. 3 puddles of white. Okay. And this time I'm gonna grab my primary magenta. Or like I said, you could do quinacridone magenta. Just a little dot is really probably all well, maybe a little more. Pyro red for the next one. Two little drips of pyro red. And the last one is, I guess, a little bit of yellow. Well, this mix is going to be a little of each. So let's do it 50-50. A dot of red. Oh, that's a big dot of red. And a dot of magenta. Or 2. And then, actually, I do need a 4th color. I'm going to need some Hansa yellow. I'll just put a little bit of that over here. And a bit of white. Okay. So here we go. Now, my water is, your water might be dirty from the blue mixes, okay? So, don't, you know, if it's dirtier than this, I would say get yourself some fresh, clean water, because believe it or not, even that will affect your color mixes, but I think I'm okay. All right, and then every once in a while, it's a good idea to really thoroughly rinse your brush vigorously and really wipe the ferrule against it. Really pinch it and really wipe that ferrule. The ferrule is where the bristles attach to the brush. Wipe that out really good. You get a new paper towel. Okay, so now, again, I'm going to grab my medium first, big dollop of it in my brush. Bring it over here, mix it into this white puddle, and bring in my primary magenta. Okay, so there we go. That's my magenta mix. It's a little bit lighter, so here, let's make it a little bit darker over here, this side. Okay. I think this one was quinacridone magenta. So that's why this one looks different, but I like it. Okay, next I'm going to mix Pyro Red Light. So again, I'm going to grab my medium, put that into the white, stir the red in there. It's funny because, you know, we were taught in grade school, at least I was, that red and white make pink, but really it's not the same pink as the other one that we just mixed, is it? Isn't it? Isn't it different? This is really like kind of coral or peach or something. So you really do need that magenta on your palette, I think. But anyway, this is a beautiful color too. So there's that. What would you call that color right here? It's a nice shade of lipstick. So that's that color. And again, I'm going to pinch this out of my brush. Okay, the next one, grab this medium, mix it into here with this, and it's both. It's the magenta and the red. And I really do love this color. And, you know, if you wind up having to make more of this as you're going along, don't worry if it's different. It's actually a good thing. So we want this to look in between. It should not look like either of the other two mixes that you just made. It should look a little bit different. That's the main thing. We just want it to be a little different. Okay, so I'll put that right here. And it is different. That's like Barbie pink, right? Really pretty. I would love that in a lipstick, please. Okay. And then the last color, if I just have, apparently I had a little bit of red with this. So I'm going to grab a little bit of this Pyrrole over here, just a tiny bit, and mix that in with this yellow and white. Oh, it's very yellow. And I need a little bit of medium in this so it doesn't dry out on me. I need a little bit more Pyrrole in it too. Mixing some medium into that. So if I add this to any of those pinks, I'm going to get a more of a highlight peachy yellow color. So I just added some Pyrrole Red into this, and now that's more what I want. Now this is talking to the other colors, right? It's in harmony with them a little bit more. I think I need just a bit more of it though. So let me grab it from here. That's better. Okay, so that is my highlighty, yellowy, peachy color. God, I made a lot of it. It's like a yellow-orange peachy color, okay? And we are good. We're doing really good here. Again, I'm going to vigorously clean my brush, really pinch it to get all the paint out of there so I have a nice clean brush. And again, I'm going to mist this from a distance. Maybe 2 mists on this because it's a lot of paint. So it's just a fine mist of water over the surface of all these mixes. Put the lid on and clamp it down with a bottle of something. So these are my reds. I'm just going to call them reds, even though they're reds and pinks with a yellow. We know what we're talking about, right? Okay, how are we doing so far? Any questions? Somebody says, I just bought the teal. I love teal. Teal is one of my favorite colors. I'm glad you bought it. It really is pretty. And if you add the tiniest bit of like white and a little bit of a cool yellow into that teal, it's just so pretty. It becomes just ever so slightly greenish, ever so slightly though, just a little bit of yellow. Very pretty color. Linda, hi. Deborah, a great color to have. So pretty for so many things. The teal, right? Yeah. Okay, let's get back to our color mixing. So next up, what are we doing next? we need our greens. We did all those. Where are my greens? Here they are. Okay, so this is what we're going to do next. We're going to mix our greens. Now, for this, we do not want any white, okay? No white. So I'm going to grab another palette, and I'm going to put out 3 piles of yellow. Instead of white, I'm putting out 3 piles of yellow. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then I need ultramarine blue. So here's my ultramarine blue. I'm going to put a little, you don't need much, little dot of ultramarine blue next to that one. Maybe I need more, I'm not sure. And then I need Payne's Gray for the next one. Payne's Gray for that one. And I don't even have my teal here, so I'll just use my phthalo blue green shade. Okay. Ultramarine blue, Payne's Gray, phthalo blue green shade. And again, if you don't have Payne's Gray, you can mix that from ultramarine blue and brown. Okay. So we're going to get our medium out. Maybe I'll just put a drop of medium on each pile instead. There we go. And I'm mixing the medium into the yellow first. And then I'm going to grab just a little bit, pull a little bit of the ultramarine blue into it. And I'm starting off with yellow greens, so we can make them darker, but don't go too dark, because once you get it too dark, you have to start over. So I'm just going to leave it about like that. This is my yellow green. I guess it could be a little bit darker. Let's put a little bit more in there. Okay, perfect. So there's my yellow green made from ultramarine blue and yellow. Next up, Payne's Gray and yellow. So I'm going to mix the medium in, pull that Payne's Gray into it. Now this is for me to make a medium, kind of a medium shade of green. Maybe medium to even darkish, but look at that. It looks like a perfect, like avocado green. Okay, nice. And then the last one is, this is going to be, now that phthalo, just, I'm telling you, a tiny, tiny bit is all you need. I actually put too much, but oh well. So this is going to be my really super vibrant lime green. Look at that. Woo. Okay. And if you know, on any of these mixes, if they go south, if they get too, if you do them wrong, the best thing to do is to start over again with a new pile of yellow. Because if you keep adding yellow to a bad mix, you're going to waste a lot of yellow paint. Take it from me. I've done it. Been there, done that, got that t-shirt. Okay. Then, okay. To darken them, I want to have my darkeners on the same palette. So I'm going to put a little raw sienna, a little teal, and a little more Payne's Gray, kind of separately over here. Actually, I think brown would be a good color too. So here's a little dot of Payne's Gray. I'm going to put a little dot of brown. Burnt sienna would be very good for this as well. If you've got, I don't have well, I have a tube of burnt sienna. And then I want my teal. So let me grab that. This is my teal. Put that over there. Okay. Oh, I forgot my raw sienna. Let me grab my raw sienna. You do need raw sienna if you're going to paint like landscapes or even portraits. It's a nice earthy yellow. It's a very important color to have, I think. So that is that. So I'm just going to leave that like that for now, okay? With a little bit more medium, just in the middle. Okay, now I'm going to mist this. Make sure there's just a fine mist of water over the whole thing so this doesn't dry out. And these are my greens. And I'm going to be ready to paint. Okay, so let me look at my sheet. Sorry, I'm looking for my direction sheet. Yeah. Okay. So that is what we just covered in this step, mixing your colors. Got my colors all mixed and I'm ready to go. You might want to, as you're mixing these, you might want to, paint them out onto a sheet of copy paper and even label them for yourself. Yeah, phthalo is really crazy. I strongly urge you to do that, and then it'll be good to refer to them later on. So that is all I'm going to do on this video, but since I got my colors mixed, I'm going to be ready to hop right back on here and start painting. I just want to separate this video out as a separate stream. So I'm going to end this stream, and then I'm going to set up a new one and hop right back in here in about it'll probably take me 10 minutes. So I'll see you on the next step. Bye.